You ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Roundtable. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network, watching us on Broadway World or over on social media. You know, we love a musical theater star. Our next guest has been literally across this country, singing and dancing a hell of a lot better than I can, everybody. And what's going to happen is he's now transitioning to film. Short Game. Yes, the Short Game is out. It's winning. It's like there's like film festival awards galore. The most short game I have is I've played miniature golf in Myrtle Beach back in like 1996. So I feel like well, Ben's going to tell us all about it. Ben Krieger, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, Robert.
Thanks so much for being here. So our audience loves you because many people around this country have seen you shuffling off to Buffalo in tours. When did you get the bug like you're a Broadway baby?
Yeah, I wouldn't be here without my sister. I was 8 years old. I remember the moment when, I was all over the place. I was doing magic and I was playing soccer and basketball, and my sister was very steadily from the ripe age of 6. She was a theater kid. We have this great little student theater down where I grew up in South Florida called Starstruck. It's amazing. If you live in the South Florida area, go to Starstruck. They're the best. And I remember the day when I was in the backseat of my mom's car and her and my mom were talking about, the next show is Peter Pan, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, can I do it too? And I don't know what inclined me to ask that, but that was kind of the start of it. I followed my sister. I did a few student theater productions. And then I auditioned for the Maltz Jupiter Theater, which is a great regional theater in my area. And I booked the role of Gavroche in Les Mis. And then from there, someone approached me and said, hey, if Ben wants to, he should audition in New York for the Broadway. And I was like, well, that's cool. And I think it was my 5th audition. I did some Newsies, some Willy Wonka. That was like around the time when Willy Wonka was coming up. And then I finally booked the role of Theo in the Pippin National Tour. And from there, it would be on to Sound of Music as the swing for Kurt and Friedrich. And then originating Peter on the national tour, Finding Neverland after that. And it was amazing. I mean, it was one of the greatest ways anybody could grow up. And then after all that, I was back home in Florida for high school. That was kind of the journey.
For high school, you did all of that before high school?
That was all. That was my middle school. That was 6th and 7th grade. It was all of that. Yeah.
It was very nice to talk to you. That's it. He's done. Go off the screen. Get off Ben.
I'll see you later.
So, Ben, it's one thing to say you're going to do theater. It's one thing to work community theater, which I love community theaters and regional theaters around. It's another thing to go on tour and take the step to go to New York. Was it scary? Did your family think like, this is terrifying? This is exciting? Like, what can you say to the young kids out here who want to do this?
Yeah. I mean, I think, when I talk to my parents about it today, and I hear like, what was happening in their heads around that time. Because I mean, for me at that point, I was a young kid. Everything just sounded exciting. It wasn't until like, I got on tour when it was like, okay, he's expected to have a certain level of professionalism, and you learn that, and you roll with the punches. You're young, but it's like that's almost to your advantage because you're taking everything in with a certain level of curiosity and enthusiasm. And you wonder, like, I remember being on tour and wondering, after a 2-show day or like before our Sunday 2-show day, after we've already had a 2-show day, the adults in the cast would be like, oh, groggy and whatever. And I'm like, wait, why aren't you guys excited? We have another 2-show day, So that's it. It's such a magical thing being that young and getting to do this professionally because you don't see it as work, and most of those people don't because they all love what they do. But I mean, still, it's more tiring for them, but as a kid, you're constantly in awe of everything that's going on around you.
So it's amazing. And I love it. And that means that when you get to something like this, we're going to talk about how we get here in 1 second. So follow along with me, folks, because we get to this. So is it true? You record music.
Yes.
You sing. You can go follow on Instagram, and right there, boop, 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 I'll be following. Yeah. And you've recorded music for television. You've recorded music for different, tours and whatever. It's one thing to stay in the musical lane. It's one thing to do the musical theater lane, but to go to make a feature film or to make a film is a whole other leap and jump. So Were you in school? Are you still in college? What's this, Ben? How old are you? 14 years
Okay,
old?
I'm 20. Like a little like reality check. What's going on right now is I'm 20 years old. I studied 2 years at NYU in Tisch, but at the Recorded Music, Clive Davis Institute of Recorded Music. And then I'm on a leave of absence now because I'm moving to LA in January. Just because like I kept having to leave for acting stuff and come back, and I'm just like, if this is what I want to do, which is what I want to do, let me do it now. And school will always be there if I want to go back. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, Ben, because you're starring in a movie.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You're starring in a movie. So you're in college. You're at NYU, at the Clive Davis, at Tisch School, recording music, learning how to the art of music, the science of music, etc. And then you book this. How do you book this movie via self-tape? Do you connection, your agent? Like,
Yeah.
what happened?
So, I have a great team of agents in New York at CESD, and I have an amazing manager, Chelsea Strayano, who's out in LA. And they sent me auditions, and I think this one came from CESD, I believe. It was during my freshman year at NYU, and I would film all these self-tapes in the practice rooms, which was a real hassle because they weren't open all the time. You had to book them ahead of time. Sometimes auditions would come in, and I needed to film them in the next few hours, and I had to find somebody to be my reader, which is like, I'm in a new city. Like, these are new friends. I don't want to get them to spend 2 hours with me. I'm not like paying them or anything. It's a tricky thing doing the self-tapes, but this one I did with a great friend of mine. And then I think it was like in February, this was a self-tape that I did. It was like 3 scenes. And then it wasn't until like the middle of June, I was home for the summer, and I got the call that there was no callback or anything. I remember like the week after I sent in a self-tape, I got an email that said, "Hey, they want a video of your golf shot. Do you have that?" And my stepdad was in the city, and he took me to like an indoor golf range, and he quickly taught me how to swing a golf club because that was never a sport that I played growing up. And I never got a call back. I never heard anything. I was like, oh, okay. They didn't like my golf swing. Like, that's what it is. Makes sense. And then June or early July, like 2 or 3 weeks before we filmed, I got a call that I booked the lead in this movie, which was like crazy because I had never been in a feature film. I had done a pilot for Nickelodeon. And that's what kind of all my film experience was at that time. But then it was like, hey, you're going to lead this cast in your first feature film. And I was like, holy crap. Because I was home for the summer, like I was like decompressing from my first year of school. I was like gearing up to go back and like do even better this year, because first year of college is always a little tricky. And then I got this news, and it's like, oh, am I going back to school? And then I booked another feature film after that, which is still in the works right now. So I didn't end up going back to school for a little bit, but it was definitely a surprise, but very exciting, and it kind of changed. My life has been very different since.
So when you get that call, for sure, when you get that call, is there a moment of relief, like, oh my God, I'm onto something, like this is the start? Is there a moment of fear? Is it like I'm on the right path? I'm terrified. Like what goes through your head?
Yeah, I mean everything that you just said, really. It was, I remember like that summer I had been feeling, like I could be better in my craft and I should be working harder and all this, like feeling some self-doubt, insecurity kind of stuff. And I was like, I was starting to just like really like focus on what I could do in that moment, which was record more music, because that's something that I could do like right at home, whenever an audition came in, like really focus on those auditions. But that was right around the time the strike was happening, so there weren't a lot of auditions going on. And then I got that call, and it was first of all like some incredible validation that I needed. It was something to look forward to, which is something that's always good. Like something to look forward to. We all should have something like that, right? But then, as I thought about it more, I'm like, I don't know if am I qualified? I don't know if I'm qualified for this. Like, I'm going to get there, and I'm going to I don't know if I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I spent like 20 days, the 20 days I had before I went out there, just like preparing myself for like, okay, you're going to get there, and you're going to focus on the craft. Like it's any other craft, like you haven't done this in a while, like professionally, like the acting thing, you've been going to school for music. The last acting thing you did was the Nickelodeon project like 3 or 4 years ago. But like, you're going to go and you're going to just zone in, and you're going to fucking give it your all, And going into it, like having that mentality was really great. I ended up having a lot more, like I thought it was gonna be work, 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 and I was really focused, but it was also like you have to have some fun, you meet some great people, and we had a great time filming it. But I think like going into it, like I prepared myself for like the absolute most diligent, like working actor, like method stuff, just like to prepare myself for that.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, the film, which everyone we're talking about, which is like in the short game, which is film festivals. If you're in Florida, there's film festivals coming, like the home of golf, literally. If
Yeah.
or Rehoboth Beach or in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, your film, the film is being shown, so you can follow it and stay up to date. You can follow Ben's Instagram and all of that as well, so we can stay up to date where the film is going. Tell us a little bit about how the filming of it was, and tell us a little bit about working with Frank Sanza. He's someone who loves theater. I mean, he loves musical theater as well. He wrote this piece, he directed this piece. So what was it like? How did they ease you, the crew and the cast who may have had more experience on a film set? Did they help you ease you in? Did they make you feel comfortable? What was it like?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it was just like it's indie filmmaking. So everybody that's there loves it and is very on board. It's not everybody cares about the project, which really helps a lot because it's infectious. And now I care about it even more than I did already coming into it. But my first day there, I came a few days early to work one-on-one with Frank on my golf, and because it was indie, it was me and the director who made this thing, who he loves golf, he has an autistic son, like this is his story, and so if it was a big budget film, like I'd have some, like a golf trainer training me or something. But no, I spent 3 days out on the driving range with Frank, which was amazing because it's slow out there. It's beautiful. I got used to the Texas heat, which is something that would be a big factor in our 21-day shoot. But I got to know Frank. I got to know why this is important to him, more about my character, Jeremy Avery, how he sees it, let it inform how I see him. And so Frank was a real like guiding force for me, like in those first few days. So by the time we got on set, I was just very excited to meet Tyler, who plays Tommy, my best friend, to meet Emma, who plays Carly, my other best friend in the movie. And by the time we got on the set, it was just, have fun, like do the thing and have fun.
And you did it. What's so fascinating to me is I went looking and researching before I came to talk to you, and I went over to the website shortgamemovie.com, and the website talks about raising money, finding the cast, finding locations. Like when you talk about indie filmmaking and a passion project, it's one thing to write a movie, it's one thing to fund a movie, it's one thing to cast a movie, it's one thing to shoot a movie, but then to be able to have it out and being seen and winning awards and being picked is a whole other thing. Like people have now seen the film, the reaction has been out, it has been in film festivals. Have you sat down and watched the film?
I did. I saw it for the first time at the Newport Beach Film Festival, which was our premiere. First time, public has been able to see it. It was my first time seeing it. I hadn't seen anything. I saw a trailer because like the week before I went out there, because I guess they put one up on the website where you can buy the tickets. My grandma called me. I was about to go in, to work, and she was like, "Oh, the trailer looks amazing." I was like, "What trailer? I didn't see anything." I was like, "What trailer?" She's like, "Oh, I was buying the tickets." I was like, "What?" And then I saw the trailer. I loved it. But then I finally got to see the whole thing. I went with my sister out to Newport Beach, and I saw it twice. And it was insane. I mean, this has been a dream of mine for so long, to be able to sit in the theater and watch myself up there, and then for people to be so kind afterwards, about the movie, to see how it affected them, about my performance specifically. The first time I saw it twice that weekend, right? The first time I was I was watching myself very closely, and I had, a lot more negative things to say about my performance than I would the second time around, because the second time around I was just enjoying the movie. But the first time I was like, okay, that was like, okay, you could have done that better. Okay, cool. There, like I was like a hawk. I was watching myself. But I feel like that's probably something that everybody experiences. But I really, really enjoyed it. It was the movie that we made, and then seeing it actually through the lens, that Greg, our DP, got to see it through when we were filming. It's magical.
So who's this film for? It is magical, and not everyone, Ben, gets to see themselves on screen. So we for people watching out here, this is something really special. And you're never going to forget your first feature and your first starring role. And I'm sure there are many, many opportunities, songs, musicals, theater, movies, television coming your way, Ben. You're you have a big giant career ahead of you.
Oh,
What what's this film for? Who should check it out? What are we going to hear about or learn about humanity, life when we go see
yeah.
this movie?
Yeah, I mean, this film has a lot to say and a lot of emotions to stir up for people. I can't wait to go see this movie with my family. I think it's a great movie to see with your mom, with your dad, with your brother, whoever, because there's a great sense of love within the family, within the friends. There's this whole thing with my brother in the film, the kid who plays my brother, and the character is autistic, and my character, the whole thing is that he's trying to get the scholarship, but he's, his mom's going back to work after, recovering from cancer, and his brother's autistic, so he still start helping him out again. He kind of resents him, but it's kind of like an excuse for, him not being able to like focus on his game. And by the end, he embraces his brother. And I think there's something to say there about the gifts of people on the spectrum. And I think people just see kind of like, some like social quirks or something that they may not be able to look past. But I mean, like I've grown up with so many people and it's incredible. And I think there's something when you watch this movie, you'll just learn not just about people on the spectrum, but anybody who you may feel is weird, or people throw on this word hate sometimes. I don't invite them. Like, I hate them. Like, hate is such a strong word. If you are annoyed by them or they feel a little weird to you, like that is not a person's being, that doesn't tell you if they're good or they're bad or who they are, And I think this movie has a lot to say about looking past, the cover of a book, so to say.
Well, I'm sitting in a 6th grade classroom during the day, and we all need some lessons in how to deal with people on the spectrum, or how to deal with people who may be different than you are, and how to accept and love people no matter who they are. So kudos to you, Ben, and the humanity that you bring to this role, and this film is going to bring to everybody. So are you saying it's not just for golfers? If I've never golfed before, I'm still going to find something in this movie.
It is not just for golfers. And my sister and somebody else approached me at the festival saying that I thought golf was the most boring thing in the world. That final tournament, like my sister gasped when I almost missed this putt. Like, she gasped. I turned to her. I was like, oh my God, because we made golf, for people who don't find golf exciting. We made golf exciting. We made golf so exciting. The final act of this movie, the final tournament, I'm telling you, you're going to be on the edge of your seat.
Okay. Is there a way, can you tell us, how can we support this film? Is there a way to see it? Is there a way to follow it? Is there a way to watch it? What can we do as the general public to support it?
I would say, well, first, if you're in Fort Lauderdale, we're going to Fort Lauderdale Film Festival next week, November 11th, Monday at 6:30. I think we have a showing there. So if you're in that area, go see it. I will be there. We can meet. That's me. Follow me on Instagram and let me know if you're coming. I'll make sure to meet you. So that's first and foremost. That's the soonest thing. There it is. But also, follow us on Instagram, The Short Game Movie. We're starting to post a lot about where you can see the movie, little clips, information about the cast, about the filming process, all of that. And if you stay tuned there, we might have some more exciting news to share with you soon.
Ooh. Oh, we'll talk about a spoiler alert. Well, all right. So everybody's going to have to follow. Look, we'll move it. We'll try to do fancy things here for Ben. The Short Game Movie. Just
cool.
Go.
You did that?
Yes. That's as much talent as I have, Ben. I can't golf.
That's very cool.
And I can't do, Pippin choreography either. But that's besides the point. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. My father is the biggest golfer. We're going to have to watch it and have a moment together and check it out. And you're going to have to check it out. And we're going to have to follow Ben. Is there new music? Are you still singing? Are you still writing?
Writing? I released a new song a few weeks ago called Rockstar. You should check it out. And I got a new song coming out on November 22nd. Follow me on Instagram for all the information about that. Hear little snippets and stuff. It's very exciting. And yeah.
If we want to hear the stuff that's already out, we can just follow wherever
music is heard. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. It's everywhere. It's on the moon, man. The music is everywhere these days. So you just look up Ben Krieger. That's Ben Krieger, and I have, I think, 12 or 13 songs out at this point, and more every month. So yeah.
Well, everybody, he's a star, so get on it. Start listening to it, and congratulations. Good luck with the move to LA. We look forward to following you and seeing what's next. And congratulations about the movie. We're really excited about it. The Short Game. Follow it on Instagram to stay up to date, and we're going to follow Ben. Look, it's the follow through that matters. And if you play golf, you get that because you just got to follow through your swing.
But it applies to life too. Don't give up, kids. Don't give up.
Don't give up. So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations.
Thank you, Robert.